I'm going to call this video Quick Tips for Cub Cadet Owners Having Problems. I had serious problems on this tractor, and because I'm retired, I decided to take them on myself. I had a terrible oil leak. The oil sump gasket was shot, and I took it in the garage there and disassembled, removed the motor from the tractor, and I was going to make a YouTube out of that, of course. But I must have 16 hours of mistakes and labor, and I had it on and off 3 times, the motor, because it was my first time, and there were mistakes made. But a couple quick tips. If you take the deck off, make sure you sharpen your blades before you put it back on. Next tip is, if you're blowing fuses, and this is what I just resolved. Good thing I bought a 5-pack of 20 amps because I went through 4 of them before I figured it out. Where is your fuse? It's right here on the side of the tractor behind this little box, and when you go looking for it, this is going to be covered in grass clippings and dirt and dust, and you won't see it. So it's right here. Just get yourself a pair of needle nose, clamp onto where it says 20, pull it out and put another one in. But you may blow it again. Why is that fuse blowing? I didn't know why my fuse was blowing. I did a lot of research on it, and it only happened when I was mowing with the electric clutch engaged. So I determined through speculation that it had something to do with the electric clutch. I started following the wire, and the first thing I noticed that whenever I had the motor off, that's this wire here with the little black box on it, that I had routed it on the frame side or the outside of the steering arm, and it always shut off when I was going around the left-hand turn because the steering arm was trying to pull the wire out of my electric clutch. So if you do take the motor off, or if you take off that clutch connection for any reason, route it on the inside of the steering arm in the center of the tractor and back to here, and that allows plenty of play in that. Now, the first time I had that off, I must have routed it incorrectly, and this was always tight, and it was always stretched, but now it's loose as can be because I routed it correctly. The next tip is, why did you blow your fuse with your electric clutch if your wire's routed correctly? Your electric clutch, I have 410 hours on this, if your electric clutch is worn, then it starts to overheat. And the reason it overheats is because there's some slippage whenever it connects. And you might notice you're not mowing through high grass as well, you're starting to leave a little grass behind. It's because your clutch is slipping and not keeping your blade speed up. So the way to resolve that is, facing the deck, looking up, there's 3 bolts. They're 1/2 inch. I used the open end wrench to turn them. I don't know if we're going to be able to get the camera on it. They're right here, and they're shaped in a triangle. Finger on there. They're shaped in a triangle. Give them 1/4 turn tighter. Make sure you go the right direction. That would be this way, going that way, and give each one the same amount, no more than 1/4 turn, and that'll retighten that clutch so it doesn't overheat. I just mowed for about 45 minutes. Before, when I was blowing those fuses, I couldn't mow for over 5 minutes. Of course, I'm always making left-hand turns, so so my clippings won't be going inward. So that was a problem. There's 2 quick tips about the electric clutch overheating and fuses. Here's another quick tip. Don't over-tighten this connection going into your starter from the battery. I over-tightened mine, and when I went to loosen it, the whole connection started pulling out. That's why this twist tie is here, trying to keep it from falling out onto the deck. Never run your motor with this screen off for more than just a few seconds or a minute. When I rebuilt and replaced the oil sump gasket, I brought it out here in the driveway and I let it run for about 10 minutes and didn't realize that this was the cooling fan. I thought the magneto or the flywheel blades provided the cooling mistakenly, and I actually caught the front of the tractor on fire. No damage, thankfully, but I'm sure the engine was really good and hot. Probably shortened the life of it a little bit, but it's running good now. But anyway, do not run your motor for more than a minute or two with this screen off. If you have a leak in this overhead valve cover, repair it immediately. It becomes an instant fire hazard because it drips down onto the hottest part of the tractor, and I had a neighbor that burned his to the ground. Insert picture here. And it actually happened, and he went out and bought a $4,000 zero turn. So it's a $4 gasket. That's really easy to put on with the 4 bolts. Don't even worry about that. Just pop them off, put the new gasket on, go. Another quick tip: when you're replacing your drive belt up under there, make sure you put it on the correct way, the pulley, when you slide it down. If it comes the whole way off, if you don't have to take it the whole way off to get your belt on, that's fine. But putting it back on, the ends are different. The one end is open, the other one has a full key in it. The full key faces the ground. If you put it on upside down, your belt rides too low, you'll shave it to pieces on your steering plate and ruin your new belt. And then the bolt holding the electric clutch on will fall out because it's only hanging by 2 threads, and it'll strip, and you go get a new one, and they don't sell that size anymore, and they'll give you one that's way too long to go in there, and you have to find a big ass nut that you inherited from your dad to make that bolt go tight, and it becomes a real mess. So if you ever take that drive pulley off, it sits right above the electric clutch. Make sure the heavy key faces the ground and the open end faces the tractor motor. Another quick tip: whenever you replace these wheels, if yours are worn out, order the bolt that goes through the center at the same time, because once you get this wheel off to replace it, you'll notice that that bolt is worn just like a melted icicle where the wheel rides. The plastic does wear out that axle bolt. So just order the entire tire and bolt. You might as well get a new nut too. I don't know if, well, the nut's going to be fine, but I don't know if they come with them or not. I never bought any lately, but you need the new bolts. Another tip when you're mowing: if you have roots in your yard or sidewalks that you hit with this tire, you will crack your deck. This is a deck repair from the inside out. There's a big hunk of backup steel in there that I made a video about deck repair. It's on YouTube, but I never stopped to think that running into things like roots and sidewalks with this wheel will crack your deck. Having one of these stickers will make it go faster, at least in your own imagination. My goodness, when did I change the oil in this tractor? 6/16 at 405 hours. Well, we won't forget that. This is your unconscious mechanic with some Cub Cadet tips.